Hello, welcome back. I really feel like I need to just get a better welcome than just hello. I need something sort of like jazzy. Hello. That's a bit frightening, so maybe I won't do that, but I'll just say hello for now. So today I thought I would do my second birth story, as I've already done my first, and as I've given birth 3 times, I have 2 more stories to tell. So this time it will be the story of Rue. Rue, the age difference between Rue and Eden is 4 years. And sorry if you can hear purring, I've got the cat sat next to me. It's not me. Which I would really love that talent actually, if I could purr, but you just can't. No. Anyway, back to what I was originally saying. Yeah, so the age difference between Eden and Rue is 4 years. Now, we didn't plan it like that because out of all 3 of the babies, Rue is the only one we planned for. He was, and we like to joke, even though he's our middle child, he was already wanted baby, not in a horrible way. But yeah, he was the only one that we actually planned. And we had initially said we were gonna try once like we'd got married, and we'd set that we were gonna get married in like 2014. And then we'd been thinking for a while, we were like, no, we wanna get married earlier because we want a baby sooner than originally planned. And so we decided to get married in 2012 because we wanted to just get the wedding all out of the way and not have the added sort of financial burden of having, not burden at all, a child isn't a burden, so don't take it like I'm saying that, but we didn't want the whole financial thing of the wedding coming in with having a second child. So we wanted to get married first, get that out of the way, and then not have any more illegitimate babies. So with Rue, we started trying in, we waited a year after we got married because we were like, right, we're gonna go on a honeymoon and sort of spend a year of being married and it'd be really nice and stuff. We didn't go on a honeymoon, and we just didn't really do very much for that year. So, but a year after that, like I think it was like the June after that, then we got married in the September, we decided that we were gonna start trying. And it took a year for me to get pregnant, which, seeing as with Eden, it didn't even take any time, it really, really got me down that it was taking so long. And every month it was just like somebody was kicking me in the face when I would find out that I wasn't pregnant again. And it was just getting so frustrating, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. I felt like I was doing something wrong because, like, how would I manage to get pregnant so easily with Eden, and I just wasn't with like the second one. And it became like, not to talk about my sex life or anything, but that is how babies are made, but God, just doing it was just like a chore, and it just became so unenjoyable, and we just sort of resented doing it in a way because it was just clinical. And in the end, after a year, I was like, right, fuck it, I'm not doing it anymore. We're just gonna have 1 child, and I'm not even bothering thinking about it because I'm just too stressed with it. And then a month later I was pregnant. So as soon as I stopped stressing about it, I became pregnant. And so I do sort of feel quite a lot that stress can really have such a massive effect on how your body wants to work. And if at the moment you're trying to conceive, then your whole mind is just consumed with wanting this baby that doesn't exist at the moment, but you've just imagined this whole life of how you want it to be. And when you're spending over a year trying to, and I know people that have been trying even longer than that, and like, it's all consuming. And then when you finally get pregnant, then you have the 12 weeks that you're shitting your pants that something's going to go wrong. And when I found out I was pregnant, I thought, I was waiting for my period, and I thought, I'm not going to be pregnant at all. It's so I'm not gonna, and my boobs had really hurt for quite a while. And I thought one evening Craig was at work and I was like, I'm gonna go and take a test. And I took one really late at night, and it was like a few days before my period was due, and then it came up like really faintly positive, and this was like a Poundland pregnancy test. So I was like thinking, well, this is gonna be wrong. And so I rang my mum, because I ring my mum first with everything, and said it to her, and then sent her pictures. She was like, ooh, it might be, but don't get your hopes up. And so the next morning I dropped Eden off at preschool, and I just went to Boots and bought about 5 or 6 different pregnancy tests, including one of the ones that just says pregnant or not pregnant, so I could have just done that and not bought the other ones, but I needed backups. And then I went home, but at least I got loads of Boots Advantage points. So that is also a positive with buying lots of pregnancy tests. And I went home, and Craig was at home, and I did a test, left it in the bathroom, and then Craig went in, and yes, you were there too. Craig went in and lifted up the test, and he went, oh look, and it just said pregnant on it. And then we high-fived and we carried on with our day, which is pretty much a standard reaction to me, like how me and Craig react to anything. Like when we got engaged, it was pretty much like, I suppose we're gonna get married then. Romantic. So yes, then I was really excited, and then I spent the whole 12 weeks just crapping myself that something was gonna go wrong. And then it got to 6 weeks, and oh my god, it was like it hit me with a ton of bricks. I felt like shit. It was awful. I couldn't get out of bed. I felt sick. I just had to lie in bed with, and this is going to be really disgusting, but don't worry, not everybody's pregnancy is like this if you haven't ever had a baby. But I had to sit in bed because I felt so sick, and the only way I could relieve it was by spitting to make myself not feel like I was going to be sick. So I used to have a Pringles can that I would just spit into, because I don't know why a Pringles can. Was it a Pringles can? Maybe I'd eaten some Pringles, or maybe it was a bowl. I don't know. It was something like that. So I'd have to spit into that because don't judge me on that, by the way, I know that sounds really disgusting, to make myself feel better. And then I'd just lie there in bed watching about 1 billion episodes of Police Interceptors, and now even when I watch that now, I can't help but feel sick. And not because it's a shit program, but just because it reminds me. And then so I was like that for probably like 6 weeks until, no, maybe it was like, no, it's until I was 14 weeks, so like 8 weeks I felt like that, and then I started to feel a bit better. And then I had really weird prenatal sort of anxiety, and not even so much depression, but I was like really paranoid about everything. I didn't want, and I don't really like people, if I'm pregnant, I don't really like people touching my bump anyway, because I sort of just think like, if I had a hernia, you wouldn't rub me. So just because I've got a baby inside me, you don't need to rub me. Like, you bodily sort of touching and bleh. So I hate it. And so, but I hated it even more during that pregnancy. I just didn't want anyone to touch me, and I ended up feeling really like just weird about the whole pregnancy. And then I started having like SPD, which, if you don't know, is when your pelvis sort of I think it's like it's getting ready for the baby to come out, and it just either like separates or something, and then the only way I can describe it is feeling like you have got a basketball pushing down out of your lady bits, and you walk like you look like that's happening as well, and it's just really painful, and it hurts all in your bum, and that was horrible. It was so much worse though with Remy, but that was horrible. And then it got to, we found out I was having a boy, and we couldn't decide on the name between Rue and Remy, so we decided to wait until he was born. And Eden wanted to name him Remy, but we went against it and went with Rue. And then when it came to being in labour, I had a stretch and sweep first of all, because I was, how many days overdue was I? I was 6 days overdue when I had the stretch and sweep. And if you don't know what that is, prepare yourself. It is when a midwife puts her fingers, please ignore my graphic demonstration, puts her fingers up where the baby's gonna come and sweeps around to try and stretch out the membrane bit so the baby's gonna be able to come out easier. Heave. Yeah, so I had that done, which was about as pleasant as a punch in the face. And then we went to, after I had it done, me and Craig went to Sainsbury's, and I was standing there, and then I suddenly was like, oh, something's going on, I need to go home. So we went home, and I started sort of like, oh, it's really gross, but just bits started flopping out, and so yeah, and then I was having contractions every sort of 20 minutes, and they were really painful, and that lasted for 3 days. Thanks, Rue. And it was at a point where, and they were just all over the place, and it got to a point like that was on the Monday, and then by the Wednesday I was just crying, and obviously I was crying like I was just thinking, I fucking hate this baby if it's gonna do this to me. And so I rang my midwife because I was supposed to have an appointment with her, and I said to her, I was like, look, I just feel like shit, can I come in and you earlier and you look? And so we did, and she checked, and she was like, yeah, you can go to the hospital, that's fine. And I nearly cried with happiness. So we went to the hospital, and when I got there, they let me have gas and air straight away. Oh, gas and air is like the best thing ever. And it makes your voice go weird, which is kind of weird. You end up sounding like Darth Vader, which is really fun. And then I managed to, they gave me an epidural, which then just was amazing. It just stopped everything, no pain at all. And then after a few hours, my waters broke, and then really quickly, about, I think maybe like 15 minutes after, like once my waters go, I seem to just give birth. He came out, and I had a massive panic attack in the middle of, like, after he'd just been born. He came out, and they were like, oh yay, my mum was like crying, and I was like, they put him on me, and I was like, oh, take him away. No, I wasn't being horrible to him, but I had that realization that shit, I now had to look after 2 children. I just about got used to looking after one, and now I had 2, and how the hell was I gonna cope? And I was going to my mum, I was like, I can't do this, I can't do this, I don't want to, I'm not ready for 2. And mum was like, no, you'll be fine. And all the midwives were lovely, and they were just like, yeah, like, you'll be fine, don't worry about it. I was like, no, I don't want to do it. And then after, I think a lot of it was to do with the fact that sometimes when you've had an epidural and you're having Gusnet, it just makes you go a bit loopy. But it was a pretty daunting thing going from 1 to 2. And when you are going from like 1 to 2, people, like, I didn't find 1 to 2 that bad, but I think that's because I had a alright age gap. If I'd had the age gap between Remy and Rue going from 1 to 2, it would have been a shock to the system, because I found going from 2 to 3 horrific. But I think that's the age gap. But 1 to 2 was fine. And then I really had worried that I'd get postnatal depression again with Rue, especially with how mental my brain had been during the pregnancy. But I didn't, it was fine, and I actually coped really well. I just thought, I've just got to get on with things, and I'd whack him in my sling, I'd be able to still look after Eden, I'd be able to do things. And the only bad thing that I found really hard was Rue had horrific reflux after he was born, and not just the type of reflux where people say, oh, my baby's got reflux, and it just sort of dribbles out of it. He would projectile vomit after feeding across the room, and he'd do it all over me as well, and it would just pool, and he'd do it in the bed, and it was proper vomiting. Everything that I'd have fed him just came up again, and that frightened me. I thought I'd like killed him or was like breaking him, and that I'd done something wrong, and then he had to be on medicine for that. But then once that was sorted, he was just such an easy baby, like, after that. And he's my pickle, and he's so funny, and now I just couldn't imagine of never having him. So yeah, that's about it. He's 2.5 now, and he's mental. He's literally the most strange child, but he's so funny with it. No. Right, well, thank you for watching my second birth story. If you would like to watch my third birth story, then please give a thumbs up. Well, that's not gonna help, but please give a thumbs up if you like my video. Also press the subscribe button and press the little bell, which will indicate when I've done a new video, so then you can be on top form and get there first. Thanks guys, I will see you later.